All right, let's dive right in. Today we are getting into the absolute must-know safety knowledge for any esthetician. And look, this is about so much more than just passing your state board exam. This is about how you build a real career, one that's safe, ethical, and, successful. So let's get to it. So let me ask you something right off the bat. What do you think is our single most important responsibility? I mean, is it giving a killer facial? Nailing that perfect brow wax? What's the number one thing we have to get right? It's this. This right here is the absolute bedrock of your entire career. Your ability to protect your client, your reputation, and your license. It all comes down to one thing: knowing your limits and having the professional courage to say no.
And to make that crucial call, you've got to know the canvas you're working on, inside and out. And I'm not talking about just memorizing facts for a test. This is the core science that defines what you can and what you absolutely cannot legally do.
Okay, this is probably the single most important rule you will ever learn as an esthetician. We are only allowed to work on the epidermis. That's it. Why? Well, think about it. The epidermis, no blood vessels. But the dermis, right underneath, that's where you find them. The second you hit blood, you're not just in a different layer of skin, you're in a different legal category. You're completely out of bounds.
And here's a pro tip for your exam. They will try to trip you up on this. They'll throw in questions about treatments reaching the dermis or even muscle and fat. And you know what the answer is every single time? Nope. We are epidermis only. That's our lane, and we have to stay in it.
And even within our little zone of the epidermis, there's a whole journey happening. A brand new skin cell is born way down deep in the stratum basale, and then it travels all the way up, changing as it goes, until it reaches the surface at the stratum corneum and, flakes off. You have got to know the order of that journey for your test, backwards and forwards.
All right, so we've got the map of the territory, the skin itself. But what about the actual person in your chair? Every single client is a unique puzzle. And this is where you go from just being a student to being a real professional detective. And let me tell you, if you get this wrong, everything else you do could be pointless. Your skin type, like oily, dry, normal, that's basically hardwired into your DNA. It's what you were born with. But a skin condition, that's what's happening to your skin right now thanks to things like the weather, stress, or what you ate last night.
And dehydration is the absolute perfect example of this. It's a classic. People hear dehydrated and they immediately think dry. No, dehydration is a lack of water, not oil. Which means, and this is so important, you can have oily skin that is also desperately thirsty for water. If you just try to strip all that oil away, you're going to make the problem 100 times worse.
And here comes another exam alert. They love to blur the lines between these two. Just burn this into your brain right now. Dry skin is a type. It lacks oil. Dehydrated skin is a condition. It lacks water. Got it? Good. Knowing that difference is everything.
So all of this really boils down to one professional duty. You can't just glance at a client and guess what's going on. That's not what we do. A true pro analyzes thoroughly, every single time. And a real analysis is way more than just what you see under the mag lamp. You have to talk to them, ask questions. What's going on with their health? Are they stressed out? And, oh my gosh, what are they slathering on their face at home? Every single answer is another piece of that puzzle you need to solve before you do anything else.
Okay, deep breath. We're now at the absolute most critical part of all this. This is where your knowledge goes from just being a service provider to being a gatekeeper for your client's health. We're talking about the bright red, flashing, stop sign level red flags. First up, we have got to get this straight in our heads. Skin disorder versus skin disease. They are not the same thing. A disorder is something we might be able to work around very carefully. But a disease, especially a contagious one, that is a hard stop. That's an immediate, you need to see a doctor. Your license literally hangs on you knowing the difference. So let's make this crystal clear. Bacterial infections like impetigo or boils do not treat. Period. It is not up for debate. They are incredibly contagious, and working on them is a massive safety violation. Next up, viral infections. You see an active cold sore, you see warts, same rule. It's an absolute stop sign. You don't touch it, you don't work anywhere near it, you just don't.
And rounding out the big three, fungal infections like tinea, which you probably know as ringworm. You see it, you stop, you refer. It's that simple. Are you sensing a theme here? If it's contagious, it is not our job.
Okay, so what about things that aren't contagious, like eczema or psoriasis? Now, this is where your professional judgment really comes into play. It's not an automatic no, but it's not an automatic yes either. Is the skin broken? Is it inflamed and angry looking? If the answer is yes, then you still have to say no, or at least modify the service. The bottom line never ever changes. Do no harm.
And all of these stop signs and yield signs fall under one very important vocabulary word: contraindication. You have to know this word. A contraindication is literally any reason that makes it unsafe to perform a service. It could be a cold sore, a fresh sunburn, certain medications. Your job is to be the expert who can spot.
Okay, so you've spotted a red flag. Now what? This can be the hardest part, right? How do you actually say no to a client without freaking them out or, and this is so important, without playing doctor, which we are not qualified to do?
I want you to burn this sentence into your memory. This is your golden ticket. It's calm, it's professional, and it keeps you legally and ethically safe. You're not diagnosing anything. You're not saying, oh my gosh, you have a fungal infection. You are simply and calmly stating, what I'm seeing here is a little beyond what I'm allowed to treat cosmetically. I really think it's a good idea to have a doctor take a look. See, it protects the client and it protects you.
And please, this is the last big exam trap we're talking about today. Do not fall for it. Estheticians analyze. We do not diagnose. The second you put a medical name to something, you have crossed a huge professional and legal line. Just don't do it. Ever.
All right, so let's wrap this all up. What are the big takeaways? 1, we live in the epidermis. That is our world. 2, type is forever. Condition can change. You have to know the difference. 3, see something contagious, you refer them out, no exceptions. And 4, the most powerful and professional words you have are, I can't treat this safely today.
So I'll just leave you with this last thought. You can learn all the techniques, buy all the fancy gadgets, and have the most beautiful, trendy space. But at the end of the day, isn't it your professional judgment, your solid commitment to putting safety above everything else that is truly your most valuable tool?